It's that stuff you say with it's the joke it's the joke you make on the side. The problem exists in sports commentary too. You see it all the time. They did a study, 538 did, where they studied a bunch of soccer commentary, and a large percentage, I don't have the study, so I'm not going to cite numbers, a large percentage of the positive commentary made towards black people playing soccer was about their natural athletic ability. And a lot of the commentary about the skill set of the white players playing soccer were about how smart they were. It's this subtle stuff that exists. It's this subtle stuff that gets by. It's this non-direct discriminatory behavior that is allowed to exist underneath the surface. I can sit here with I just talked about this earlier with my family in New Jersey, right? I was talking about my family in New Jersey earlier. And I posted, y'all saw it on Twitter. I posted this on Twitter. Black Lives Matter. And she posts, All Lives Matter. And I know we've done this diatribe before, so we don't have to go fully into it. But the simple fact that you have to defend something because you're uncomfortable only further pushes people to the sides. But you can't have a conversation with those people because they're not hearing it. They don't care. They don't give a shit. So they're not even hearing the fact that you're saying, hey, man, maybe it's possible that based on data that we have, 1 for 1, black people are killed more in police interactions than white people. We have proof that it is real, and it is real. Maybe we should do something about it. And when we say defund the police, we don't mean lawlessness. We mean not giving them tanks just because. Not giving them anti-tank missiles and soldier gear just because they can have access to it for free. Maybe adding a level of accountability into the system to help mitigate some of the problems. That would be a great first step so we can have a conversation about, hey, if something goes wrong, is there a protocol in place that holds police officers accountable for the things that they do that, as you say, do not reflect the general populace of police officers? If no, which we don't have one, then we should do that. Right now, we don't have that because you can get fired in this county, go 1 street south and go work for them, and you could have literally murdered somebody in cold blood here and work there next week. Diehard Cubby, what up? Meanwhile, Natalia Domingo said that people were her slaves. Exactly. I am not planning a murder. So I'm tired of being quiet. I almost feel like this is going to be tinfoil. Remember I told you guys about my sober thoughts because I don't really drink too much and I don't do any illicit substances. So I don't really have those drunk high thoughts that some people have when they're drunk and super blown out of their mind. I don't have those thoughts because they don't really exist. But I have sober thoughts that are just like that. Everything I've been fighting, the throat issues, the lisp I keep trying to fight, whatever's going on up here, has all been an attempt to stifle me using my voice for the reason I need to use my voice. I've had to retrain how I speak so I don't strain things. I'm going to continue to be as loud as effing possible in order to advocate for those whose voices are tired, exhausted, and underheard. Because as a white male, I'm heard more unequally and illegitimately heard more than any of my peers suffering from these things. So I speak more as a result of it. Shower thoughts, but not in the shower, yes. But shower thoughts are always those like weird, funny side things like that. My sober thoughts are like those deep existential, like really deep things, right? A while ago, they have little pants, little shoes. They got stuff like that. It's fine. But I don't know what to do. Like, I understand that in the macro, my buying purchase doesn't matter, right? I get that. And I get that in my microcosm, the buying purchases of the people around me doesn't matter. I get that. But I'd like to think if we get really, really loud, really, really often, small cracks in the surface level of things will change. And then just like your driveway, you get that little crack, a little bit of grass grows, crack gets bigger, dirt gets in there, ants build a little thing, tunnel, and it becomes a change in the landscape. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to have that conversation. Send me the video. I've had a lot of thoughts about this, and I have had a lot of offline conversations about it. Didn't mean for it to stem this way with the conversation today, but we're here now. So I have a very good idea of what I'm going to do and how I want to affect change and how I want to use my platform, and I'm going to do it. But I just wanted to share that with everybody. So I don't know. Do I buy a Series X? Do I watch the stream? I don't know, man. I'm not happy. But I feel like, and this is also what I feel like. You've probably been on a bunch of social media. Maybe you haven't, either way. But people are like, if you don't think Black Lives Matter, don't follow me. If you don't think Me Too matters, don't follow me. If you don't think gay rights matter, don't follow me. Isn't that only furthering the divisiveness? You can share it here. That's fine. Isn't that only furthering us moving apart from each other? I would love... This is why, like, when I had mods back in the day, they would ban the trolls and ban the... They would shut down a lot of the dialogue of people being really short-sighted. And some of my best content came from people when I was first covering the Me Too stuff that would go ham and tell me that it was normal to treat women like that. I'm like, are you friggin' mental? Like, let's have that conversation. I'm sorry you feel that way. You're obviously wrong, but let me tell you why. And why do you think that that's okay? I want more people to follow me. Please, if you're racist, let's talk and let's figure out why that is happening and where we can go. And then if we find out that there's no way you're ever going to change, I'm no longer going to waste my time. But I at least should try, because if we can get that little seed in there, that little crack in there, maybe not this generation, maybe not next generation, but at some point that little seed, if it gets in there, can affect change. My friends, we talk about what happens over the course of years. Just 70 years ago, hell, less than that, women did not have the right to vote. Just 10 years ago, women in Middle Eastern countries had to have part of their privates cut off because it was law. 5 years ago, women couldn't drive in Saudi Arabia. We move forward. Things happen. We build. We progress. People look at progression like it's this weird, you're a liberal P word if you want, but we have technology today that we didn't have in the 1800s, stupid. So how do you hate progression? We no longer have to carry water from some aqueduct to our home. We have running water. We have the internet. We have all of these technological advances. We have cars. We didn't have horses anymore. We had horses. We've upgraded. We've progressed. But progression is fine as long as it doesn't affect my way of life. You say, until you realize that you'd be nowhere without your electricity and nowhere without shoes on your feet that didn't break every 6 weeks and all of that. 5 years ago, same-sex marriage, yeah. Sir, some places don't have water like Flint, Michigan. Well, very good point. When I know you're relatively new to the program, and I know you're also joking a little bit in jest, but when I speak in things like this, I speak to the bell curve, the normality. So like whatever that middle first degree is in a bell curve, that's where I speak to. I do not speak into the anomalies because they statistically do not factor. They just don't. So we speak to the general because we speak to masses, because if we can affect one of that, the whole bell curve changes. But if I speak to the anomaly over here that fully agrees with everything I say, and I speak to the anomaly over here that doesn't give a crap what I say, I can't get anywhere. I just get cheer squad and haters. If I go somewhere in the middle, we can have a dialogue. I don't always agree with everything my mods say. Judge Castle will tell you this. I have a very different life view than he does. It doesn't make my life view any more right or wrong than his. We have just lived very different life experiences. And as I grow and as he grows, our life experiences are going to change and alter the way we view things. And that is okay. Someone pulled a tape on me a long time ago and they said, well, back in 2009, you said whatever it was. I can't remember what it was anymore because it wasn't where I wanted to go. But I said something so crazy about how I felt about whatever company it was. And in 2013, I said that I really liked the company. And they pulled the tape. They were like, you said this in episode 106. And like, you said this in episode 390. I'm like, yeah, I've changed over 250 episodes. Like, really? If I didn't change, who the hell am I? What do you want to walk around all your life knowing the same stuff you feel and know every single day of your life? Is that normal? I don't think that's normal. That means you haven't lived. That means you haven't gone anywhere. That means you haven't done anything. That means you haven't moved forward in your life. That means you haven't progressed. People are scared of change, but they change every day. People make decisions based on what they learned the day before. Very few people don't do that. I make mistakes. We move forward. I'm not perfect. That's why I have a little bit of an issue with the overcorrection phase we are currently in. And I want to say this very delicately, with peace and love and with respect to those minorities across the board, people of color, everything else that are currently very angry and rightfully so, and very tired and rightfully so, and very struggling. And I'm by no means demeaning anything that they're experiencing and that they're currently advocating for. I just never understand the full scope of cancel culture to the degree that sometimes we as a society take it to make ourselves feel better. Just ourselves, not the person that they affected. We canceled Jimmy Fallon for blackface 12 years ago. What has Jimmy Fallon learned from then? He did not have The Tonight Show 12 years ago. And he didn't get The Tonight Show because he wore blackface. He got it for other reasons. His biggest mentor right now is Black Thought and Questlove from The Roots. And Black Thought would arguably be one of the biggest advocates for black culture and change and equitable rights in hip-hop, in entertainment, that to date, like easily, they're best friends. There's a reason for that. People change. If they didn't change, if you could look back and go, okay, well, in 2002 you did this, in 2005 you did this, in 2009 you did this, and you did it last year, okay, we're having a different conversation. We're having a very different conversation because obviously you haven't changed. So I don't believe that you're changed now because you got caught. You only change because you're just saying that. It's a very different conversation, right? But if you did something in 1993 and today you're doing this and someone goes back and gets you for that, yeah, they went after Robert Downey Jr. for Tropic Thunder, which I don't understand because the movie was literally making fun of the fact that it was pointing out the elephant in the room, right?